Yeah, you heard that, Sigh?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah. That's what happens when you try and sit on a 1-goal lead when you come out in the third flat-footed.
Two icing
I don't
calls.
know what the hell's up with this system, man, but what oh god, it's starting to piss me off.
Maybe we missed Tyler Myers than we thought we would, you know?
Well, I mean, when you have to shuffle your D and you have Hronek out there with Hughes at the end of the game, and Hronek misses a wide open net there on a tap in from Hughes, and there's just a few things that went wrong, and icing the puck again. Then we lose a face off and a face off play, and it goes into the back of our net. Um, Hughes and Hronek with a bad play there in our own end, leaving a guy wide open in front. Yeah, just mistakes that always seem to end up in the back of our net, no matter what team we play, and we can't seem to generate offense until we're desperate. I mean, we had one shot on goal in the third there for how long? And it wasn't until the last 2 minutes of the game that we started to get some actual offense on net. It's pretty frustrating and disheartening when we talked about it in the intermission, Alvin's interview, and the one thing we didn't talk about is he said that the fans deserve to see good hockey. And he tried to claim that, playing good defense is good hockey. Well, and the offense, will come. But tonight we didn't see either of those two things. We saw shades of the offense starting to have some real good stuff happening there. The PD line looked really good at the end of the second period. Had some really dominant shifts, pushing the Sabres back into their end, and then we come out in the third and we can't seem to generate a single shot on net for 15 minutes in a period, and it just makes no sense to me. I have no idea why this happens. I don't know what we're being told by our coaches or our offensive coaches for our team to come out the way they come out of intermissions. It just really is starting to get old in a hurry, and I don't know what they need to do, but something's got to change fast. You can't be blowing games like this that should be automatics. This should have been an automatic. It should have been a chance to pad the stats. Nothing has been going right in Buffalo. Like every other team dismantles these guys. So I don't know. I don't know.
Well, the Buffalo Sabres are not the last place team in the league, so at least we have that because the Chicago Blackhawks and the San Jose Sharks are worse. But other than the two tankathon teams, yeah, the Buffalo Sabres are the worst team in the league. But we've also lost to the Nashville Predators, who are one spot ahead in the standings, right? So it's
Starting
disheartening because
yeah.
you should be able to handle these. Like you said, these are the teams that they should be able to handle. And you shouldn't just sit on the 1-goal lead. And I don't know why that style changes. Why do you not do what the good teams do and continue pressing in the second period?
I really don't know. I really don't, and it's starting to really frustrate me. uh, I don't know how you can create 22 giveaways off of the Sabres and not have more scoring chances. There's so many questions that I have. So many times, even at the end of the game, there were a couple of plays where, um, in the last minute, where we fire the puck up the ice. JT Miller's driving down the wing, and we have guys driving to the net, and instead of just trying to drive to the net and get a garbage goal, fire the puck into the net and get a rebound, we slow everything right down and play it back to the point, and it just brings everything to a screeching halt and gives the defensive team a chance to set up. And we do it so often, and it's just getting to the point where it's like what worked against Edmonton was going straight to the net with the puck. None of this slow it down, play it back, give them a chance to come back and set up. So why do we do it against teams like Buffalo? We say there's parity in this league, so we should play the same every single night. Why do we get these different efforts night in, night out from this team? The questions are just never answered by anyone. And it's no wonder that the media does what they do and try and make they're grasping at straws, because there really is no definitive answer to why this is happening. Because one night we see what they give us against Edmonton, and then we get the second half of this game against Buffalo that's just embarrassing.
Not only did they lose on the scoreboard, they also lost in the hit column, which you almost never see from this Canucks teams. They got to hit 19-15, so they couldn't step up that physicality to maybe turn things around with a big hit, and only one power play drawn as well. So if you're not moving your feet, you're not going to get calls.
No, and in the third period, we weren't really moving our feet. We didn't deserve to be on the power play at all. And to be fair, Buffalo's a big team. Like, to go shoulder to shoulder with those guys is a tough task any given night, but you can't get away from what's made you successful. And for some reason, every other night or every other game, this team gets away from what made them successful. And that was, shoot first, attack the net first mentality, not slow down and set up and try and generate some perfect goal. Like, have a bit of urgency. And we don't get the urgency until it's like, oh no, we're up against the clock, time's ticking down, and now we're going to be urgent because we're losing. Just play with urgency all game and win a game 7-0, for goodness sake. Like,
Danton Heinen a -2 tonight.
well, and he was that Hughes and Hronek goal that we talked about, where they kind of got mixed up on the dump in. Heinen with a bad change there. The rest of his line mates changed. Petey and Besser came out on the ice. Petey went to the wing to try and break up the puck, to try and break up the play, and then Hronek misread the play behind the net. But Heinen also didn't cover really anyone leaking in, and he probably could have picked up that forward that drove to the net there, Kulik, because Kulik came off the bench on a Sabres change. And so Heinen could have very well easily picked him up too to help out the D-men. So there was a lot of issues on that tying goal that made it 2-2, which really swung the momentum in the Sabres' favor. So we can talk all day about that, but then again, an icing call and a lost faceoff cost us the game.
Lucy and Dana +1, and then the one that probably more shocking than any, if Quinn Hughes is a -2 and he had an assist, which means he was on the ice for all 3 goals against. But yeah, going back to that one, I did want to talk a little bit about Hronek, because obviously there's the play where he didn't get to the front of the net. Quinn Hughes goes to the corner. That's a very common play. Quinn Hughes shifts to the corner. Hronek should be getting right to the front, but instead Hronek waited a second and then came to the front of the net. It was too late. And then also the swing and the miss, healing the puck to an empty net. These are all signs of a guy who's only been back for a couple games, isn't it?
Oh, 100%. Like, the game's just a little too quick for him still. He hasn't played in 7 weeks, and so I give him a bit of a pass, but at the same time, it's tough when those mistakes cost your team a game like this, right? Like, sometimes you can get away with them here or there, like the goalie's going to bail you out or a forward will bail you out, but because there's such glaring mistakes in a game like this, it hurts a little more. He's not going to be happy with either of those plays, obviously. He's a pretty proud guy, so I'm sure he'll be looking at that and going, I need to be better and more focused next game.
Yeah, Canucks ended with 34 shots in the game, but when you got a goalie like that in net who's feeling himself, you're not going to be coming back anytime soon on him.
I beg pardon. He was doing what?
Hey now. 3 stars of the night.
Did I miss that part of the game?
Yeah, you got to get the OnlyFans version of Sportsnet for that. Elias Pettersson gets the 3rd star of the game with the 1 goal. Beautiful shot. Jay Paterka with the 1 goal and 1 assist, number 77, the 2nd star for the Buffalo Sabres. And the number 1 star, the guy who was in on every single goal, Mr. Kulik, with a goal and 2 assists. Obviously deserving for that guy being in on all the offense today.
Yep. Yeah, no, I might have swapped the Peterka and Kulik just because Peterka got the game winner. But I mean that's pretty much what I had the Stars at. Petey had a pretty good game with the goal. I think he had a couple of blocked shots as well, and he was working hard out there. Um, yeah, again, those mistakes every single time they seem to find the back of the net. We can't. We are having a tough time in the luck department, but sometimes you got to make your own luck, and sitting on these leads is not helping at all. Uh, I don't know. I don't know where we're at with the structure issues on that front. I don't know if when we trade Miller, it will change things. Um, I can't see the issues with Miller on the ice or off the ice really changing the system we're trotting out every night. So at the end of the day, maybe we need to question the coaching staff and what they're choosing to do on a nightly basis. And I think a glaring, uh, something that's a little glaring is that Tocchet doesn't have a contract extension, or they haven't extended his contract. I believe there's still an option, but there's no real talk of him coming back. And so I don't know that this management has a lot of faith in the structure right now. So we'll see again what happens in the next couple of weeks. But we know that management is active, trying to make some changes. Uh, what those changes end up being, we'll have to see.
I think it's one of those things with the Vancouver media where they're just like palms in the air and they're just like, you know what? I'm sick and tired about talking about how inconsistent this team is. Maybe we should just make up some rumors and run with that.
Pretty much. I mean, these rumors are all across the country. I mean, the Spit and Chicklets podcast yesterday, they're talking about the JT Miller drama.
Yeah.
And you got Paul Bissonnette saying, he's heard that Miller has asked for a trade, but publicly they're denying it. And you get more firestorms going. And so it's just
One
at the
thing
end
after
of the
another.
day, something's got to give. If he wants out, then get him out. If he doesn't want out, that's his right. A contract that was given to him by Patrick Alvin and Rutherford, with a no trade clause. I mean, that's something they gave him. So I mean, that's a pill you got to swallow, and that limits your ability to trade a guy. And if on the other side of that, if Miller's truly going to deny any other trades or make it difficult to move him, then maybe you put him in the press box for a couple of games and teach him, hey, then we'll just sit you, because at the end of the day, this is going to be basically a pissing match between Miller and the Canucks, and hopefully it doesn't get ugly. Hopefully this just stays the way it stays, and we can move forward smoothly, and everyone can be happy. Ideally, I'd love Miller to stay. I don't think we can get anything that can replace a guy like that when he's focused and channeling his energy the right way. However, I don't know what the answer is to get him going on his top gear, and to get this team to mesh the way it really should be meshing on paper.
Before we hop over and chat about the Abbey Canucks, the last player I wanted to talk to you about with the Canucks was Forbort. So I felt like he had a very strong game tonight. He was even, played 17 minutes, had a shot, had a couple blocks, was looking very solid. Do you feel like Forbort's game is starting to round into shape now that he's been kind of in the lineup consistently?
Definitely, he's found his game for sure. Now that he's got a consistent game, the chunk of games under his belt. I mean, the guy had a real rough start to the season. 3 games in, gets injured, and then his father passing away. So a lot of things going on for the guy. Um, and then comes back 1 game, goes out with another injury. It's nice to see him get some consistency, get some games under his belt. He's now, working well with Desharnais. I mean, they look great on the penalty kill.
Mm-hmm.
Those two are really looking strong defensively on the penalty kill. So as it limits, it's also allowed us to limit Desharnais' minutes a little bit. Obviously, not so much with Myers being out, but it does allow those two to kind of be more specialty use guys, like penalty kill, that sort of thing, and they're a little more fresh for that. And yeah, Forbert, he's pushing his offensive game a little bit too by trying to get shots through and helping out that way. So that's always good to see. Hopefully we can get more of that from him. And I don't know how long this Hronek and Hughes split up experiment is going to last. I don't see it going much further than this Myers 3 games. But hopefully, like I said, hopefully this Band-Aid works. Maybe this team a little bit was looking forward to the rematch against Edmonton coming up, given all the distraction and buzz. But we can't. Obviously, I'm not trying to make excuses for the loss. They shouldn't have lost this game, but there may have been. There's been so much noise around this team. It's got to be hard to focus on game days. When you got to come in, talk to the media, there's different questions about different things. You got to answer about all the crap that went on about a game, last game that you're trying to put out of your head. You're trying to focus on the game tonight. So, it makes it tougher in a market like Vancouver, but at the same time, these guys should be used to it by now. So, it's here. I just keep talking myself in circles. So, which is pretty much this flipping year. And
I don't want to make
every analyst, it happens to everyone right now.
Yeah,
Everyone's
I don't
talking
want to make
themselves in circles.
excuses anymore, Dustin. I don't want to make excuses anymore. I want to talk about a win streak. It's been since November 30th to December 1st that they've won 2 games in a row.
Sooner or later, every team has a blowout win. Where's our blowout win? I want to beat a team like 5-0.
We're waiting for man. We're waiting for the Stanley Cup Finals.
Oh God.
Okay. Let's stop talking about the Vancouver Canucks because they make us sad, and I don't. I need to get my antidepressants refilled. The Abbotsford Canucks. We talked about their game against the Barracuda because it finished up on Saturday when we were here. We now have the Sunday, January 19th. They played their second game. Another short turnaround. The 7:00 was on the Saturday night. 4:00 game on the Sunday night. Can you tell me a little bit about how the boys did down there, down the number 1 in Abbotsford?
I can tell you a lot about how the boys did down there in Abbotsford. They continued their winning streak. Now it's 6 games by taking the second game of the series 5-4 over those San Jose Barracuda. Abby did get down 2-0 in the first 10 minutes of this game, though, so we're up against it early. But goals from Niels Oman and Cole McWard evened it up before the first intermission. So good hard work by the boys there to tie it up going into the second. Otu Ratu made it 3-2 early in the second, but San Jose would tie it with 3 minutes left in the period. So a 3-3 game going into the third period. San Jose attacked quickly in the third, taking back the lead just 7 seconds into the period. So a quick strike from them. However, it wouldn't deter Abby. They would answer quick with a goal from the red-hot Linus Karlsson, getting a goal in another consecutive game. So that guy has been on absolute fire. There is no other way to describe it. Has I think now a 5-game goal streak going, 4 or 5 game goal streak going. So we'll be keeping an eye on that as this team hopes to continue this winning streak. It looked like this one was heading to overtime until Otu Ratu found a wide open Jonathan Lekkerimäki streaking to the net, who chipped a beauty over the San Jose goaltender with 38 seconds remaining in the game. And that would end up being your game winner with Abby completing the comeback. So Lekkerimäki also added 2 assists for a first star performance in his first game back with the baby club. So that was really nice to see him get into a game and show off his basically rookie of the year AHL performance that he's been carrying all year. So he didn't want Carlson to get ahead of him in the goals, so he had to grab one himself there to stay one ahead on for team scoring.
How did old Artie Party look in the net that night?
He looked okay. A couple of shaky goals, not obviously not as good as his 42 save performance in his last one, but he did enough to keep the team in it. There was a couple of power play goals by San Jose this game, so not all the goals were his fault. Maybe one or two he probably wanted back that weren't his best stuff, but overall, San Jose actually played a really tight game with a couple of good goals. Luca Cadnoni, he had a goal and 2 assists as well, so he was the second star off of San Jose. So a strong game from the Barracuda, but good on the Canucks for digging deep and tying it up quickly after going down with 7 seconds into the third, and then finding a way to get the win late in the game with some good hard forechecking from Ratu and a really nice goal by Lekker showing his soft hands.
Calvin 99 Charlie, why is Mackey not up here?
Well, last game we talked about how he sat in the press box, and it's not good for the kid to be sitting in the press box. And it's better for him to be down in the AHL, so he can actually get some play time. And so that's basically what had happened there. They sent him down to get a game in. Didn't really need him for this game against the Sabres, we thought. So we will see if they call him up for the 1 game trip to Edmonton here, but I don't know if they will, given that we'll see what Tocchet decides to do.
Well, now we've lost, they can change the lineup again, right? Because when they win, they don't change the lineup, and then when they lose, they change the lineup, and then it doesn't make a difference because they should just stop trying to do anything and just like win, lose, because that's what they're doing.
Yeah, it feels like we're riding on a yo-yo this whole season. But yeah, so Abbey will play next this weekend. They go on a road trip to Tucson to take on the Roadrunners on Saturday, on January 24th and 25th. Both those games at 6 p.m. So they look to continue the win streak and keep this good play going.
And they round out the month with another game against the Coachella Valley Firebirds on the 29th, and then the Calgary Wranglers back in Alberta on the 31st of January. So got 4 games left before the end of the month. See how long this streak can go. The last one I wanted to ask you about was somebody was mentioning they were a little upset that we didn't see DPD come up instead of Friedman. And that's one we've heard here and there. And essentially what I said was the Canucks are going to let him marinate. Like he's not coming up until maybe the end of the season if the Abbotsford Canucks get knocked out. But it's very similar to some of the other defensemen they've been marinating. They just stay down there and they just marinate, right?
Yeah. Yes and no. He also shoots left, plays left side predominantly. So there is that Friedman's a right-hand shot and plays the right side. So losing Myers, who is a right-hand shot and a right side D, we know that Tocchet likes to have his left-hand, right-hand guys out there. So that probably has a lot to do with it. We're a little deeper up the left side with left-hand shots than we are on the right side. So that's likely plays into it, but also he is really doing well in the AHL. You don't want to rush a kid up and take away his confidence by either having him end up scratched or getting victimized by top players or bad matchups and things like that. So he's also got an all-star game coming up, so let the kid have his moment, and we'll see how it goes here as we approach the trade deadline and the playoffs.
I do this to you every time, and it's kind of a mean question. What do you expect from the Canucks on Thursday night against the Edmonton Oilers? Use your Canucks logic.
I would hope we see some form of emotion. We know that there will be plenty from the Edmonton fans. They will be loud, boisterous. I believe they were throwing nachos on the ice tonight in their displeasure with the officiating. So they don't hold back, those Oilers fans. And we know Edmonton will bring it. Just because McDavid's out of their lineup, they still have Draisaitl, Nugent Hopkins, Hyman. They got plenty of firepower. Likely see maybe some fireworks. Maybe some guys going after Garland. We'll see what happens, but hopefully they are ready for it. And maybe their lack of concentration tonight was because they're more focused on that game and everything that is likely going to happen or could happen.
Dustin, stop making excuses for them. I'm sick of your excuses. I sound like your father or something like that.
God damn it, Bobby, what in the hell's the matter with you?
My wife's like, you just bring up childhood traumas now.
I know, I'm gonna have to go like rock in the corner and cry before I go to bed.
Where's my bottle?
I just want one more goal.
Yeah, so the Canucks got Edmonton on Thursday night, 6 o'clock, so we'll be live at 5:40. Are you going to be available for the first period there, sir?
I will be here.
I forgot to ask you, how upset are you with me on my tiering list for today?
There was a couple. There was a couple there.
What was my worst decision?
And you got, a couple there that made it to A tier. And also, you got to give C tier a little more love.
I know.
Like a couple of the flying V's that you got in B tier should probably be C tier. Like a couple of your B tiers.
Okay.
There was one of the the salmon.
The fade.
The fade.
That I put in A tier.
The first fade. You know, I respect it, and I respect you putting the Black Sox higher than the Red Sox because the Red Sox make it start to look like a Flames jersey.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think. The one that you kind of undercut was the OG vintage stick in the rink.
Yeah,
you kind of gave that one, didn't give that one much love. The first Orca in the green and blue with the Vancouver.
Yeah.
Should have got a little more love, I think, because it's a pretty solid jersey. But yeah, you're doing a good job. I think the ones you're putting in S tier deserve to be in S tier. Obviously, the championship one's got to be there. But yeah, maybe think a couple of those B's maybe bump down to a C, a couple of those A's maybe bump down to a B, and we'll be happy.
Yeah, well, definitely. I'm gonna figure out the tier website, see if I can set it up as a polling kind of thing, and get it all set up so everyone can decide what's better than what I think. And Rome also says one good thing about tonight: Dusty's still wearing his jersey. It's not on the floor in the corner.
That wasn't as embarrassing as an effort. I mean, at least they tried to come back in that one, but you know, that one against the Jets and that one against the Kings, those were pretty poor efforts.
Got any words for chat before I let you go, brother?
Just stay positive. Things will turn around. We've been through worse as Canuck fans. We are clinging to the playoff race right now. Things will change. Everyone knows there's issues around the team. Not just the fans and not just the analysts. The management, the coaches, the players all know that they can be better. So let's see what they bring in Edmonton, and hopefully we can one of these days find some consistency.
Cross your fingers. I'll talk to you on Thursday, brother.
Yes, sir. We will talk to you then. Have a great night, everybody, and thanks again for dropping by.
Nothing is perfect.